Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about Hellboy, directed by Guillermo del Toro. And this movie came out in 2004 and stars Ron Perlman and Doug Jones. And it's the story about Hellboy. It's kind of a superhero movie, if you want to call it that. I would say comic book movie, because when I think superhero, I think like either Marvel or DC. But this is a film that takes place in a world where you have these creatures who are just attacking and killing people, and there's one person who is out to stop them, and he's also a monster, but he's the main hero, Hellboy, and the movie's awesome. We'll start with Ron Perlman as Hellboy. I don't think anyone else could have been a better choice to play Hellboy. I think he's awesome. He brings a lot of charisma, and he has really great lines of dialogue that he delivers so perfectly. And I remember as a kid, I used to watch this movie a lot, and I would say, "Ah, crap," how he says in this movie, and it's really funny. And this movie is surprisingly really funny. There's lots of great jokes, and that comes from the great performances in this movie. Doug Jones, he plays Abe in this movie, and he's a fish creature basically, and what he does is he touches things, and he can see past, present, and the future when he touches certain things. And he's an entertaining character, and I think what really makes the characters work in this movie is that they have plenty of different characters to play off of, especially Hellboy. And each character brings out a new side of him. When he's talking to Abe, he's kind of just... that's where he's at his most normal, I guess, if you want to call it that. But when he's talking to people who are in charge of him, that's where he gets a little annoyed by. He just hates being controlled by other people, and there are rumors that is there a Hellboy that is saving us, and they're trying to keep it a secret. And in this universe, they've made comic books about Hellboy, and those were pretty funny. And there's even a line in the movie where Hellboy acknowledges those comics, and he's like, "I hate those comics. I always get the eyes wrong." I would like to talk about the action in this movie. Lots of fun. There's really good action scenes in this movie. There are some visual effects that do not hold up, but I will get into that later. But the actual when it's practical, everything looks fantastic. And Guillermo del Toro, he's known for really great creature designs. And it really shows in this movie. All of the creatures look great. Hellboy, he looks amazing. And his the right hand of doom, all the way to his entire body, he looks great. And Abe looks great. And really, I don't have any criticisms with the creature designs in this movie. And there were there's one instance where I thought the character is named Samael, or I forgot his full name of what he's known for, but it's one of the antagonists of the film. It's just a monster creature, and it looks great practically, but and it's mostly on four legs, but it can also stand up on two legs. But when it was standing up on two legs, that's when it was taken out of it just a little bit, and it just looked like a dude in a suit, like Predator or something. But that was the only time it distracted me. I also want to mention how this movie is presented in terms of which perspective you're following. I think it's all well done. At the beginning of the movie, you have that guy who later on takes care of Hellboy, and it's from his perspective, and it's in the 40s. And then after that, it cuts to the opening credits, and then it goes to the perspective of this guy named John Myers, and it's him figuring out all these different things and how they work. And after that, you get Hellboy's perspective, and he becomes the main character. And I thought that worked really, really well. And the film did a great job introducing everything in this movie. And I haven't even mentioned the character of Liz yet. She was great. I really liked Liz in this movie. And there's a bit of a romance in the movie. I thought that worked really well. And the dialogue in the movie, it felt natural for these characters to be talking the way they were. I thought the villains of the movie worked pretty well. They don't get all that much development, but you understand what they want. I mean, it's not revealed right away in the movie, but it reveals what they want eventually. Now I'm gonna get into my issues with the movie, and that has to do with the visual effects. Pretty inconsistent. I guess a more accurate term would be dated, but some of it looked pretty bad, and the only times it looked bad was when it was like fully CGI people. And it was mainly Hellboy when he was fully CG'd. And when they're doing like all these crazy things, or when Hellboy's like a little baby and he's just jumping around, that looked bad. And when Hellboy is fully CG'd later on in the movie, that didn't look great. There were some things in the movie that were dated for sure, but some things did look good. I think the creatures themselves, when they were CG, I think they were passable. Because this is 2004, I can be more forgiving in the movie from 2004. But, yeah, half of the time it looked not great, but when it was practical, it looked great. In the first half of the movie, that's when the visual effects are at their worst. However, as the movie goes along, I think the visual effects get much better. I don't know how, but they managed to do it. It looks pretty good in the second half of the movie. Another issue that I have with this movie is there's a scene that is in the middle of the movie, and I think it's about an hour into the movie where they decide to go after these creatures, and things kind of go wrong, and Hellboy is requesting for backup. It cuts right back to their base, and it felt really abrupt to me, and I felt like there was a scene missing. And I get what they were doing. They were trying to make the pacing flow very well. And this movie flew by for me. I was never bored throughout any of it. There was just one editing choice that was distracting for me. I guess I'll go back to the visual effects really quickly. I'm going to talk about Liz, and what she does is she's the Human Torch before Fantastic Four. And the visual effects for her fire, very inconsistent. In some scenes it looked really good. Other scenes didn't look so good. And there was like a scene where like a green soul was coming out of a guy's mouth, and that looked bad. But those are all my criticisms with Hellboy. I think this is a very well-paced movie. Lots of fun throughout. It has great characters and great practical effects and great character designs. And really just fun throughout. And I've always loved this movie, and definitely check this movie out if you haven't already. I think this movie is great, and I'm going to give Hellboy 2004 an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Hellboy 2004 down below. And my social media links will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Ocean's 11. Because I haven't seen it in a long time, and I would like to revisit it. But until I get that up, thank you for watching, and have a great day.